Going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 92. And this is part one of week 21's review. We are 6 days from finding out who our six teams in the playoffs are this year. We've got one hell of a race shaping up for this week. With me to review this past week from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, how are you feeling coming into the final week of the season, my friend?
Man, this is just as crazy as we thought it would be, maybe even crazier. It's still I mean, 8 teams maybe in shot for 6 spots, and we're going into the last week of the season. Nothing is settled. Nothing, everything's up for grabs. Nobody knows where they're going to be. This is just absolutely insane.
I'm going to touch on so much more of it tomorrow when I have Ben and I have the rest of our matchups here. But when it comes right down to it, I think two teams are safe for the playoffs. Then there are six teams separated by 7 games for 4 seats. Holy shit, this is going to get wild. And it is going to be all about seeding. It's going to be about who's going to be facing who in the first round. And those final two teams, 7 and 8, well, those guys are going to have to take a week off and lick their wounds as they take the bye in the consolation bracket. But that is all for tomorrow's conversation. Right now, we're going to go over 4 matchups here. And Jason, we're going to kick this thing off here with your matchup against Adam Lowenstein. You fall here to an 11-10 loss. See, on Sunday, Jason, you had a doubles lead, and Adam took that. You also had 22 ticks on the batting average, 11 ticks on the on base percentage. All of that flips from a 13-8 to an 11-10 loss. So close categories this week. You win by the 2 triples, win by the homer, 2 RBIs, an error, and 2 wins. Adam wins by the double, 2 steals, 4 strikeouts, 2 losses, and you guys did not tie in anything. For Adam on his bench this week, Jason, here's the game. It is 20 for 62.
Oh dear. That's a lot. uh, well, okay. 20 for 60 would be 300, so 320.
It's 323. 5 runs, 8 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, 6 walks, and 15 strikeouts with an error. The only thing that really plays here is the 6 RBIs. He lost that category by 2, and I'm sure he would have liked to get some of those in. Kerry Carpenter was on Saturday, a 3 for 4 with an RBI. Jake Fraley coming off the IL was 3 for 5 on Friday. So there was some opportunity to get those RBIs in there. For his moves this week, he added Dean Kramer, 6 1/3, a homer, 5 strikeouts, a 150, and a 1 against the Chicago White Sox at home. He dropped Tristan Beck for Jake Fraley, who at the time was on the IL, is now once again healthy. Dropped Kike Hernandez for Jonah Heim, who did not play. Dropped Ji-Wan Bae for Jake Rogers, over 5 with 3 strikeouts. He dropped Jake Rogers for Mark Canha, 2 for 4, a bomb, an RBI, a stolen base, a run scored, and a walk, because, of course.
Of course he can.
Yeah. And he finally dropped Yu Darvish for Ben Lively, who was on the IL. Yu Darvish hitting the free agent list right here at the end of the week, and it doesn't look like he might pitch again.
Yeah, I certainly hope he doesn't. Now that he's sitting on the waiver wire for all your playoff teams to go and have your way with, I don't see why he would come back, and I hope he doesn't.
His MVP this week is Ian Happ, 385 with a 452 on base, 4 runs, 4 doubles, 2 bombs, 9 RBIs, 2 steals, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. The guy has lit it up all week and pretty much all season. He's now hitting just under 250 on the season, but he has been a thorn in the side of quite a few teams this season.
I remember last week Mike saying that the middle of that Cubs lineup has bothered him all week long, and it kind of did the same thing to me too this week. Happ and Suzuki and Swanson, like they were just pests
all week. The least valuable hitter is Kerry Carpenter, 231 with a 231, a run, an RBI, a steal, and 4 strikeouts. He was better on the bench than he was in the lineup for Adams. So it's unfortunate that he couldn't get him in the right days. The Cy Young, I'm giving to Raisel Iglesias. His 4 relief appearances, all clean, 3 saves, 4 innings, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a 1 whip. The Cy Yuck goes to Jose Alvarado's 771 ERA, 3 relief appearances, a 2.14 whip, 2 1/3, a loss, a bomb, 2 walks, and only 3 strikeouts. Jason, for you on the bench this week, you went 12 for 43.
Uh, okay. I thought it was gonna be worse than that, but um, we'll go 268.
It's 279. That's
Okay.
4 runs, 4 doubles, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 2 steals, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, and 2 errors. The only things at play here are the doubles and the errors. If you get both errors in, you lose the category. So good job keeping those out. Those were both on Sunday, by the way.
Yep.
The doubles, however, DJ Stewart was good. A couple of other guys on Friday, and specifically on Sunday, you had a couple of guys hit doubles for you on the bench here. Wilmer Flores. Ahmed Rosario didn't start, so I'm not going to knock you for that one, but Wilmer Flores here is the one.
Yeah, and he was going against I forget who was pitching for San Diego that day, but I didn't like the matchup, and that's the thing was it was tough this week between DJ Stewart and Wilmer Flores trying to figure out which one of those playing the matchups because one hits better against lefties, one hits better against righties, but they were both hitting everything all week long, so it was hard to figure out which one to get in.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And some weeks that just happens, man. Like you end up with this platoon that doesn't that you think has the right combination, and then one week they just don't do what they're supposed to.
Exactly.
For your moves this week, you dropped Oslavis Basabe for Zach McKinstry, 2 for 4, 2 triples, and 2 strikeouts. And I texted you when the 2 triples happened and was like, this guy out of nowhere.
And this guy hits 2 triples and does not drive in nor score a single run. How does that happen?
You
Tigers.
play on Detroit. That's how that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, exactly.
Drop Jordan Wicks for Griffin Canning. Drop Andrew Abbott for Christopher Sanchez, 4 2/3, a bomb, 5 strikeouts, a 5.79, and a 150. Drop James Karinchak for Keenan Middleton, 1 1/3, a walk, a strikeout at 0.75, and that was an 0.75 whip and a relief appearance. You dropped Logan O'Hoppe for Hunter Renfroe 0 for 5. Dropped McKinstry and Christopher Sanchez for Jose Quintana, which I think is tomorrow.
Correct.
Okay.
Against
You dropped
Washington.
Hunter Renfroe for Taylor Walls, 1 for 4 with a run. Dropped Keenan Middleton for Alejandro Kirk, 1 for 4 with a run and a walk. Dropped Kirk for Kevin Biggio, over 2 with a run and a walk. And finally finished out the week dropping Griffin Canning for Ryan Thompson, 2/3 of an inning, a 150 whip, and a relief appearance. Sir, your MVP this week is DJ Stewart. 300 with a 417, 3 runs, 3 bombs, 5 RBIs, and 5 strikeouts. What?
Dude, he's up to like 10 home runs in since like the month of August or something like that. He's on a home run binge right now. And that's like I benched him a couple times this week and he bombed off the bench. I'm thinking eventually this is gonna stop. He can't be hitting home runs the rest of the season, but he does. He just keeps on hitting them.
Keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah,
10 bombs, 21 RBIs, and he's got, I don't know, what's this? How many bats does he have on the year?
not
98.
many. Yeah.
98 at bats and 10 homers. This is Mike Jacobs territory. The least valuable hitter is Dalton Varcho, 091 with a 286, a run, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. What a disappointment that guy's been, huh?
Yeah, and the thing is, he'll tease you with like a couple of days of bombs and steals, and you're like, okay, I guess between that and the eligibility, I gotta hang on to him. But there have been times where I came close to dropping him, but I was so afraid of dropping him and then him landing on your team, Frank's team, and then him just going off. And I'm like, I'd rather stick with him being dreadful than the opposite.
Hear ya. The Cy Young this week is Grayson Rodriguez, 6 innings, a win, a walk, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, in an 0.33. The Cy Yuck no longer on the team. Andrew Abbott, 3 1/3, a loss, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, an 8.10 and a 2.40. That kid did all right for you for a minute there.
Yeah. I think I kind of, ran his course, and he did what he was supposed to do, but he had another start at the end of this past week, where I think he actually did okay, but I couldn't take any more of him.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You guys are vying here for seeding in the consolation bracket. As the guy who won the consolation bracket last year, Jason, are you looking to defend your crown?
Absolutely. You know what? Yes, it's kind of relaxing not having to be in the mess of playoff team hunt, but also, yeah, I'm gonna keep playing and keep fighting. And I mean, there's a consolation bracket for a reason. If there
Mhm.
wasn't, then I wouldn't care. But it's there, so I'm gonna go for it.
We'll talk much more about the consolation bracket next week and tomorrow because once the seating is set, then you guys will have the rules for the consolation bracket. You guys obviously aren't able to make any moves, and we'll talk more about that soon.
Yep.
Jason, what's the next matchup we're going to be looking at here as we dive into the ones you researched this
Let's dive into Christian taking a, I think, surprising 9-8 win over Henry Collins. And the interesting thing is, because of everything else that happened this week, Henry still remains in sixth place, so he still hangs on to that playoff spot. Uh, but he's hanging on by his fingernails. This was, I think, a matchup that he needed to have, and he kind of it was close all week long. It was back and forth. He was up 9-10 coming into Sunday.
week?
Uh, on Sunday, Christian was leading in doubles, and Henry flipped that. But that everything else, so steals were tied. Christian took that one. Henry led in losses, and Christian tied that. Henry took two losses to tie that category. Henry led in saves. Christian tied that. Henry led in relief appearances, and Christian tied that. So it was Sunday was a rough day for Henry. He lost a few categories there and turned a 10-9 lead into a 9-8 loss. Not terrible, but against a team that's in 14th place, you kind of would hope for something a little bit better.
Yeah, this was just probably one of the upsets of the week, I would say, when a team in 14th place is just getting hit week after week by teams in the playoff hunt, and you see a guy who just needs a win and needs to solidify his spot in the playoffs, especially in his rookie year, falls into a trap matchup here.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
And yeah, it was an interesting turn of events here. So we'll talk about Christian's bench. He goes 10 for 22.
10 for 22. That's almost five. I'm going to go 450.
455. 455, 3 runs, a double, a homer, 4 RBIs, and 6 strikeouts. None of that plays, but on Friday, he benched Logan Gilbert, Drew Smiley, and Mitch Keller. They combined for 15 2/3, 2 bombs, 4 walks, 21 strikeouts, and a relief appearance. If he gets that in, he would get innings, he would get strikeouts, and he would get relief appearances.
Wow.
So, again, I don't know if this was just a case of a 14th place team not checking his lineup, or if there was if there was strategy there, but that would have made this matchup a whole lot different.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
He did use 5 ads.
Okay.
He dropped Noah Syndergaard for Jordan Westburg, 1 for 2 with an RBI and a walk. He adds Darius Vines, 6 innings, a win, a walk, 5 strikeouts, a 3 and an 083 in Colorado for his big league debut for the Braves. Very impressive.
I was talking to Frank about that guy too, and Frank was like, I have no fucking idea who this guy is. He's like, I've never heard of this dude. I'm not starting him in Colorado because he was thinking about doing it too.
Sure,
Oh, this is the
sure.
guy who does it. Okay.
Yeah, and it worked. And then he gets sent back down to AAA. So thanks for your help. Drops Curtis Mead for Gary Sanchez, 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts. He drops Adam Wainwright for Reese Olson, 7 innings, a win, 1 strikeout, nothing earned in 057 against the White Sox. He drops Vines for Andrew Abbott, six and a third, a homer, two walks, five strikeouts, a 142, and 0.95 against the Cubs. So there you go. So I dropped Andrew Abbott, and he throws a
He
nice
ends up
game
back
against
on
the
you.
Cubs.
He ends up on your opponent's team for the week.
Yeah, yeah.
Go figure.
For his key players, we're going to touch on. It was tough. I kind of split it between Esteury Ruiz and Tommy Edman because both of them stole all of his bases. Ruiz goes 417 with a 462, 3 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 3 RBIs, 3 steals, 2 strikeouts. Whereas Edman goes 353 with 500, 4 runs, a homer, 3 RBI, or yeah, 5 steals, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. So he stole 9 bases this week, and those two combined to 8. So
It's amazing. It's
yeah,
amazing. Two guys are combining for what the entire other team put out.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, and you knew that that's what you're getting with Ruiz, but Edmund, that was a lot of stolen bases for Edmund. So um,
I'd say so.
for his his least valuable hitter is going to be Alex Verdugo, I guess. He had a good week, 240, 269, 3 runs, a double, a triple, a homer, 2 RBIs, a walk, and a strikeout. Everybody in this offense did something. So it was one of those weeks where it was really kind of hard to find somebody
Mhm.
to nitpick on. So Verdugo is now hurt too. So I guess that's something. But yeah, the Cy Young, I'm giving it to that Olsen kid, even though he only had 1 strikeout, 7 shutout innings. Shout out to Wheeler for his 10 strikeouts and Vines. I also want to give a shout out to Adam Wainwright. He dropped him. This guy has had a brutal stretch of like
Oh
four
yeah.
straight starts of awfulness, and he actually had a decent start. Took the loss against the Padres, but it was as solid a start as he's had in forever. So
He's had
maybe he's right.
straight starts where he's taken the loss, dating all the way back to July 29th.
Yeah, and look at those ERAs, like all of them
Yuck.
in double digits.
That Kansas City start was brutal.
That was awful. Yeah, and
Gross.
I know Bryan Lebo kept kind of going to back to this well, and he finally stopped, and he ended up on Christian's team, and he performed well. So go figure.
Of course. Of course.
The Cy Young is going to be Brock Burke, I guess. Christian pitched pretty well this week, so it was again kind of hard to find somebody. But 3 innings, a loss, 2 homers, 5 strikeouts, a 12 and a 2 over 3 appearances. Jose Leclerc wasn't great either, but he at least recorded a save. For Henry on his bench, he goes 8 for 24.
That's a 333.
It is 6 runs. He needed 5 of those to tie. 3 doubles, 2 homers, 6 RBIs. Needed 4 of those to tie. 2 steals, both of those were to tie the category. 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Uh, he also left some pitching on the bench, namely Yusei Kikuchi, Tom Cosgrove, Bryce Wilson. Basically, he would have gotten relief appearances, but he probably would have lost losses and whip. So
They're probably better off to keep those guys out of the line. I know the Kikuchi start specifically was a really good benching.
yeah, I also realized we didn't touch on their close categories. I want to hit on that real
Oh,
quick
hit him.
because Christian won by 4 RBIs and a steal. Henry wins by 2 doubles, a walk, 3 wins, a homer, and .00109026 on the whip. And they tied in triples, losses, saves, and relief appearances. So it was a lot of closeness, a lot of categories that could have happened, especially on the pitching side for both of these guys. It was really a toss up.
This was one of those weeks where he'll say that in fact he texted me and he said he left a lot of stuff to be desired. I think the statement was pooped his something to the effect of pooped his pants or screwed a pooch. And I said, no, man, it's coin flips. It happens.
Yeah.
Like these kind of things happens. It's just loud because it's week 21 and you're in this dogfight.
But like again, and we've said it before, like you're a rookie in this league and you're fighting for a playoff spot. Be proud of that. Like that, win, lose, or draw. That's something to hang your head on. So,
No doubt. You
um,
get 8 steals and you can't win that category.
right, right,
Come on.
by one.
Yeah.
Like you just
Come
need
on.
one more steal.
What a mess.
For his ads this week, he used 11. The Monday ad was interesting. He dropped Tony Kemp for Bryce Wilson, who had pitched 4 innings in relief the day before. So he kind of had to figure that he wasn't going to be coming into the game for a while. And in fact, he didn't. He came in on Sunday for an inning, but Henry had him benched. So he basically never gave him any stats all week long. Dropped Kendall Graveman for Tom Cosgrove, an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance on the bench. Dropped Zach Thompson for Jake Irvin, 5 innings, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 5.40 and a 1.40 against the Marlins. Dropped Drew Rom for Danny Jansen, 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run, and fractured his finger. I was at that game and I watched the
Oh,
trainers come out and look at him. I'm like, oh, there's something wrong there. I saw the home run, and then he also he like took a foul tip or something like that off of his finger
oh,
while
that
he was catching,
sucks.
and now he's on the injured list, and who knows if we'll see him again.
Yeah, that
So he
sucks.
dropped. So then he drops Jansen for Ernie Clement. Good idea playing in Colorado, but the guy goes 1 for 3 with a run and 2 errors. I watched both of those errors. I went, ooh, that sucks. Dropped Jake Berger for Bo Naylor, two for 4 with a run, a double, a walk, and a strikeout. Dropped Jake Irvin for Brandon Marsh, 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Dropped Spencer Torkelson for Nolan Shanuel, 0 for 3 with a run and 2 walks. Dropped that guy for LeMahieu, 1 for 4, a run, a double, and an RBI. Dropped Cosgrove for Donovan Solano, 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the bench.
Hmm.
And dropped Bo Naylor for Hunter Goodman, 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, a steal, and a walk.
Who is that guy? Because that's
He is
just annoying on a Sunday to get that.
Yeah, he is this kid from Colorado. They're playing him kind of everywhere. I think they played him in the outfield on Sunday. Yeah, he's an up and comer guy.
Hmm.
And with the Rockies being dead and buried, they're gonna give this guy some rope, and see what he can do for next year.
All right. I mean, let's go, Hunter Goodman. Be a good
Yeah,
man.
he's a good man.
All right.
Another good man is George Springer, who also had a good time here in Denver. 304 with a 467, 4 runs, a double, 2 RBIs, 2 steals, 7 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Um, the least valuable hitters, it's going to be Bryson Stott and Andres Jimenez. He had a lot of trouble figuring out which of these guys to start, and neither of them were good when he started them, and they were both good when he had them benched. So, like, you see their stat lines, and they're awful.
Hmm.
They're absolutely
Yeah, they're
awful. But
both really bad.
yeah, but like there was a homer from Stott on the bench, and there was a steal and a run from Jimenez on the bench. Like it was just
Yikes.
all over the place with these two guys. So it's tough. Um, the Cy Young is going to be Jesus Luzardo. 6 innings, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 050 whip. And the Cy Young, I guess I'm giving to Pierce Johnson here. 2 innings, a homer, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 1350, a 2 over 3 appearances.
Henry needed this win, and it's unfortunate that this comes the way it does. But it's not the end of the world for him here, especially heading into week 22. He's just got to take care of business against Costas, and that's a much tougher opponent than this was against Christian. So if he's going to make it after shutting out Ari earlier this year and telling us one hell of a story all year long, now's the time to put that thing in drive and get yourself to the promised land.
Yeah, yeah. He has what, a game over Bobby and 3 games over McCloskey. So it's really really tight. He needs to put that, like I said, put it in drive and make this thing happen.
Nothing is for sure, and one more week stands between him and the promised land. He's got a 1 game lead over Bobby for the 6th seed. What an insane race! It's so close.
This is must see TV right here.
And you know what? Good on Christian for playing a little bit of spoiler here. If he ends up costing Henry the chance at the playoffs by a game or two, like this is exactly where he can point a finger.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all for it.
What do we have up
Speaking of
next?
spoilers,
Oh, what do you got?
yeah, speaking of spoilers, how about Bryan Lebo taking a 12-8 win over Josh Haber?
This was the
Uh,
spoiler of the week, man.
right, right. And I do have a text from Josh saying that on Sunday he came down with COVID, so he like slept all day and missed everything.
Mhm.
So I, you know, I accept that, and it is what it is. He's still in fifth place, so he still has a grasp on the playoff spot, but
And you know
he's
what?
gonna need
Get
to
well, Josh. Like that's the most important thing. Get well. Get
absolutely,
fight this thing off. And okay, it was a bad week as it was because he was losing most of the week. It was a lot bigger than this. So to finish it out with a -4, it's not what you want. It's not what you want this late in the season, but it could be a whole hell of a lot worse.
absolutely, and it was 14-6 coming into Sunday, so he managed to flip a whole bunch of stats without really paying attention to it. Um, on Sunday, Josh did lead an on base percentage, and Lebo took that. But Lebo led in innings, wins, and ERA, and Josh took all of those. So he again made it a lot closer than it was going in. And he still has that fifth place spot, so he's still looking pretty good. Um, for the close categories, Bryan wins by a triple, a homer, two steals, three losses, a save, and two walks. Josh wins by two doubles, a walk by a batter, a win, and four relief appearances, and they tied in errors. For Lebo on his bench, he goes 4 for 23.
Couldn't be 4 for 24 because that would have been an
Nope.
easy, nice 1 for 6. All right, I'll go 188.
So 174. Two runs, a double, a homer, three RBIs, two walks, two strikeouts. The walks, he just needed one of them to tie, but it was just another great benching um, for Bryan. So nothing really to complain about there. He used 10 ads this week. He drops Tyrone Taylor and Rafael Ortega, picks up Victor Gonzalez, an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. Picks up Rich Hill, 4 innings, a homer, a walk, two strikeouts, a 675, and a 150 against the Cardinals. I wonder if that was on purpose, going against his home team. Picks up Jock Peterson, over 2 with a walk and an error. Jason Hayward, 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer. He drops Rich Hill for Joan Adon, 5 innings, a loss, a homer, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 9, and a 2 against the Marlins. He adds Matthew Batten, who is now the name for his team, Batten Down the Hatches. This
Mhm.
guy goes 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 errors, but we're going to name our team after this guy.
Hey, you know
uh,
what? It's a good name. It's a
it
good
absolutely,
name.
it absolutely is. I love it. I love it. But if he was in the playoff hunt, I don't know if we'd be seeing
Probably
that.
not.
He drops Adon for Zach Davies, 6 innings, a win, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 150 and 083 against the Orioles. He drops Jason Hayward for Kevin Kiermaier, 2 for 4 with a run, a double, and a walk. Drops Jared Schuster and Michael A. Taylor. Picks up Jesus Sanchez, 2 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. And Carson Spires. What team?
Oh, why you gotta do that to me? Oh, I have no earthly idea. The Newark Bears.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds. He went 4 innings, two walks, seven strikeouts, a 675 and a 175 against the Cubs.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know what the point of that was, but uh, seven strikeouts is nice, so that worked.
Hey, that worked.
Uh, his key players, maybe the Mets fans should have given a standing ovation to one of their slumping hitters because Trey Turner is just a man on fire right now. 423 with a 464, 9 runs, a double, a triple, 6 homers, 14 RBIs, two steals, a walk, seven strikeouts, two errors. But holy cow, he
Yeah.
literally filled the stat line.
6 homers and 14 RBIs out of Trey Turner this week. That is just ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
I would say it's about time, but it's too little too late at this point.
Right, right. He needed this, 2 months ago. Uh,
But playing Josh this week, it was a hell of a thing to have to go up against. And to win homers by one,
yeah, yeah.
you needed
For a
every
team
one of
that
them.
has struggled to win the home run category all year long.
And yo, shout out to
So,
Luis Rengifo with his 3 homers and seven
uh huh.
RBIs.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys on here that had good weeks. Ryan O'Hearn had 7 RBIs, but like that's only half of what Trey Turner had.
Right, right.
So his least valuable hitter is going to be Elias Diaz, a 136 and 136, 3 runs, an RBI, and 7 strikeouts. The Cy Young, I'm giving it to Cole Reagans. This kid has been just ridiculous. 7 innings, a walk, 9 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 057 whip. Shout out to David Bednar for the 3 saves in 3 innings and 3 appearances. Yeah, this kid has
This is
been,
the Aroldis Chapman return.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
still wow. Okay, good job.
yeah,
Good
yeah,
choice, Kansas City.
absolutely. And Chapman has been just so Kansas City is winning this trade. And the Cy Young is going to be this guy Slade Sechoni. I
Sure.
don't know. For going 3 1/3, a loss, a homer, 4 strikeouts, a 1620, and a 270. Shout out to Kirby Sneed, 2 1/3, a loss, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 1543 and a 429 over 4 appearances.
Yo.
Yuck.
At least he got into the game 4 times, but like
Yeah, but
he was bad
ew,
every single time he was in.
he literally was.
That's awful.
Yeah. Moving along to Josh Haber's team on his bench, he goes an 11 for 25.
Hmm. Go 421.
It's actually a 440.
Wow.
Yeah, 440, 2 runs, 4 doubles, 3 RBIs, 2 steals, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. The 2 steals would have tied the category. One of them did come on Sunday, when he missed out getting Bogarts into the lineup. So
Hmm.
it is what it is. He also benched a whole bunch of pitching this week, but none of it played. He benched a good start from Carlos Rodon, and then a decent start from Bradley on Sunday, but none of that mattered.
Okay.
For his ads, he used 11. He dropped Alex Faedo for Enyel De Los Santos, an inning and 2/3, a walk, 3 strikeouts, an 060 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped Alec Marsh for Andrew Nardi, an inning, a strikeout, a 1 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped David Peterson for Ryan Walker, 2/3 of an inning, a strikeout, a 150 whip, and a relief appearance. Dropped Tanner Houck for Kyle Harrison, 5 2/3, a loss, 4 homers, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 953 and a 141 in San Diego.
Oh, that was the bad start because he had a bad start and a good start. I was expecting to hear that he got the good start out of him.
He did not. He picked him up
Ah,
after the good start and got the bad start.
gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So he dropped Ryan Pepio for Will Benson. Benson went over 4 with 3 strikeouts on the bench. Meanwhile, Pepio went 5 scoreless innings with a win and 3 strikeouts. Oops. Dropped and also dropped Fujinami. He dropped Andrew Nardi for Ryan Brazier, an inning and a relief appearance. He dropped Gavin Williams for your friend Danny Colombi. That
Yeah.
was a waiver claim. Yeah, that was a waiver claim, and he got the same thing you did: an inning, a third, a win, a strikeout, and a relief appearance.
Nice.
Dropped Gavin Williams for that guy. He dropped James Paxton for Alex Vesia, an inning in the third, a loss, a homer, a walk, 1350, and a 225, and a relief appearance. Dropped Bryan Woo for Zach Thompson, 7 innings, a win, a homer, 6 strikeouts, 386, and a 1 against the Pirates. Dropped Vesia and Benson for Taj Bradley, 5 innings, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 180, 160, but on the bench. And Julian Merriweather, who did not come into the game.
That's 6 relief appearances out of the 12 moves that he got, and he wins the category by 4. It's just well played.
Yeah,
It's as well played as you can ask for.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's why he's where he is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just a chess match. He could not, he couldn't get all the way back from the deficit his team put him in, but this will do just fine. This will hold him right there in fifth, and all he needs to do is take care of business this week.
Absolutely. His key players, real quick. We'll talk about Jordan Alvarez as MVP, 476 with a 607, 3 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is going to be Ellie De La Cruz. No hits, nothing, just a steal, a walk, and 11 strikeouts, and 059 on base.
He
Gross.
really is Aristides Aquino, isn't he?
he's looking like it. I mean, he's definitely electric, but
He
he's
steals a ton of bases, that's for sure.
yeah, and like he has he has the skills and the tools. He just hasn't been able to refine it to be like a consistent threat.
I think Josh is very fortunate that he doesn't have to rely on this guy every day because he has Bogarts and Riley already.
Yeah,
You know, the
exactly.
overpacked outfield and the ability to not have to worry about having this guy in the lineup every single day probably would have hamstrung him if nothing else.
I know he's thought about even cutting him, but he's it's hard when you have a guy who can steal you three bases in a game. It's hard to get let go of that.
Absolutely.
The Cy Young, I'm going to give to Bryan Wu, who's no longer on the team, but six scoreless innings, a win, a walk, five strikeouts, and 067 whip. And well, the Cy Young, pick a guy. Probably James Paxton, an inning and a third, a loss, two homers, two walks, no strikeouts, a 40-50, and a 525.
Yeah, and it
But
looks like
I mean,
Justin Joey Lawrence was bad,
yeah.
and Kyle
Um,
Harrison we mentioned was bad.
Bessia was bad. Yeah. So there was a few candidates, but I think Paxton takes the cake there.
Yeah. Do you think Josh's playoff hopes are safe, or did Bryan really put a dent into these things?
I still feel like he's safe. It is tough, but he's going against Ari this week. I think he's skilled enough that he can figure out Ari. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think he can take down Ari, and as long as these other teams around him help him out a little bit, but he doesn't need much help. He's in fifth place. I think he's in. I think he's in.
All right. Do you think Henry Collins is in, or is he going to fall off?
That Bobby worries me. I feel like Bobby is going to make that last ditch push and break Henry's heart. That's my prediction.
We've seen Bobby do it before. He did it to Uncle Barry a couple of years ago to push his way into the playoffs. And here's Henry Collins sitting right at the cusp, right there with Josh Haber, right there with James McCloskey, right there with Frank Bucco. All six of these dudes are just clumped together
Yeah,
from third to eighth in 7 games. It is going to be an absolute mess at the end of this week, but we're going to see exactly who it is. I think honestly, I have Josh in, and I think I might be with you. I'm sitting on the side of Henry might fall out and Bobby might get in. If for no other reason, I think Costas is going to put up one hell of a fight against Henry this week just to try to
yeah.
ruin that.
Like he needs that bounce back.
Season.
After this week. So yeah, I think. But we'll see. And it's the biggest. We've learned anything can happen.
Anything happen. What's the last one of the week?
Yeah, anything can happen. Like James McCloskey taking a 19-1 victory over Matt Loosee. That happened.
He goes from missing the minimum last week to going 19-1 this week.
Yeah, and he made sure that he wasn't missing the minimum this week. I could tell he was picking up pitchers. He picked up two on Monday, and one on Tuesday. Like this wasn't going to happen again. I could feel it.
And just
Um,
imagine if he didn't miss the minimum twice and he was +4 and +4 more. So he'd be +8
yeah,
from where he is currently. Power through this one, my man.
yeah. Let's do it. On Sunday, it was 17-1 coming in, and actually some stats changed on Sunday. Homers were tied, and James took that. Matt led in steals, and James flipped that one. But James led in strikeouts by a batter, and Matt flipped that. Um, Saves were tied, and James got one to win that category. So all told, it went from 17-1 to 19-1. Um, Close categories, James wins by the triple, 4 ticks on the average, the save, and two homers allowed. Uh, Matt won by four strikeouts. That's about it. That's the only thing he won. And they tied it. And they tied in errors. For McCloskey on his bench, he goes 14 for 62.
All right. 7 for 7 for 31. which is a little bit worse. It's okay. Go 237.
226.
Okay. All right.
226, 14 runs, four doubles, a triple, three homers, nine RBIs, a steal, seven walks, 10 strikeouts, two errors. Obviously, nothing plays because
Only
it
the
doesn't
errors
matter.
that I heard.
Yes, the errors would have played.
Yeah.
Um, he again had some pitching on the bench. He still had trouble getting some of these relievers in, but this time it didn't matter at all. It all obviously everything clicked. Uh, he used four ads this week. As I mentioned, he picked up two starters on Monday. They were Wade Miley, and Bobby Miller. Miley went 6 innings, a win, two bombs, a strikeout, a 3 and 067 against the Cubs. Miller went 6 innings with a win, a homer, two walks, four strikeouts, a 6 and a 150 against the D-backs. He
Not
dropped
to be
Bobby Miller.
confused with Houston Astros former starter Wade Miller.
Yeah, you put them together. That's what you get. You get Wade Miller.
Who was actually a good starter.
Yes, he was. He dropped Bobby Miller for Jose Quintana, 6 innings, three walks, five strikeouts, nothing earned, and one whip against the Rangers. He dropped Quintana and then didn't make another move until Sunday when he picked up Akil Badu, who walked twice and stole the base. That was it. Four ads, one hit and three starters. His key players this week started with Anthony Santander, 333, with a 391, four runs, three doubles, two homers, nine RBIs, a walk, and a strikeout.
Well done.
The Cy Yucks, or the least valuable hitters, rather, are going to be Ryan Mountcastle didn't score a run. He had an RBI, two walks, three strikeouts, of 188 and 278. Adolis Garcia had the counting stats. He had two homers and six RBIs, but 10 strikeouts and a 174, 296 average on base. Not good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because their teammates, Santander and Seager, had incredible weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how that worked out. The pitching side, the Cy Young, I'm going to give to Tanner Scott here and give him a shout out. 4 2/3, a win, a save, three strikeouts, nothing earned, in 064 over three appearances. He is now the closer of the Marlins, so good there.
Good for him.
Yeah, and the Cy Yucks, this is also tough because he pitched really well. So it's either Kenley Jansen or Giovanni Soto. Like they're the only ones that had anything remotely close to a bad week.
Gregory
Like
Soto.
or Gregory Soto. I am flashing back to the early
Yeah,
2000s, aren't I?
you're going to the mid 2000s here. Giovanni Soto, former, wasn't he the NL Rookie of the Year?
He was, and
Yeah.
then he fell to the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Yes. And so both of those guys were the worst of what was a great pitching week for McCloskey. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
267 over 60 innings.
with an 084 whip.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do.
hmm
And what about for Matt on his side?
He went over 0 on the bench,
All right, nothing on the bench. Yay!
but he did leave 12 and a third innings, a save, and 13 strikeouts. All of that played.
Ooh.
So there you go. He did make two ads. Both of them came on Sunday. He dropped Chris Flexen for Rowdy Tellez, who did not play, and he dropped Nick Pivetta, who was the recipient of that save that he had benched. And he picked up Zach Greinke, 3 2/3, a loss, a homer, a walk, 736, and a 164 against the Red Sox. That was it. The MVP for Matt is I'm giving it to Brian De La Cruz, 333 with a 357, three runs, two doubles, a homer, six RBIs, a walk, and three strikeouts. Orlando Arcia had a very similar line. In fact, they had the same batting average and on base, but he committed two errors. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah,
I'm giving Dylan Moore the lead foul hitter. He hit 083 with a 267 on base, an RBI, two steals, three walks, and three strikeouts. Nicky Lopez was also bad, but he didn't really play a whole lot this week, so kind of hard to really pick him.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a bench guy as your least valuable guy.
Yeah, even though he's playing on Matt's team every day, he's not playing for the Braves every day.
Yeah, that's usually the important thing. Like you have to be playing for the actual baseball team every day to be
Yeah,
relevant
yeah.
on the fantasy baseball team.
It is fantasy baseball, but there is a sense of reality to it too.
Yes, yes, of course.
The Cy Young is going to be Javier Assad. This kid's been incredible.
Who?
Eight shutout innings, a walk, seven strikeouts, and a one whip. Wow,
Who?
Javier Assad.
What the
I don't
fuck
know
is
how
this
he.
kid?
I don't know
269 with a
how.
118 across 87
Yeah,
innings. Who is
I don't know how
this?
he ended up on Matt's team, but he did. And
Good job, Matt. Way to get this guy out of the playoff hunt. So,
right,
somebody's
right.
not like this is the Ranger Suarez of a couple of years ago and Nestor Cortez when those guys were making these like stupid runs of a sub 2 ERA and you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
And this is a guy I could totally see being on like Ben's team right now, like if he was out there,
Hmm.
and him reaping these eight shutout innings.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Um, the Sayak, it's toss up between Josiah Gray and Cutter Crawford. Crawford was really bad, two and two thirds, a loss, a walk, one strikeout, 2025 and a three. And Josiah Gray, this is over two starts, six innings, a loss, a homer, eight walks, four strikeouts, a 10-15 and 257. Both of them were kind of nasty.
God. And 9 walks out of Kopech is ugly too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yuck.
And
Ugh.
like Derek Law was a guy that he pitched a lot this week, and he was on the bench for Matt a lot this week. And the
Mhm.
one time he got him in, he took a loss.
Way to make this thing interesting here at the end for James McCloskey. Make up those 8 missing stats that he should have had earlier this year just by making the damn minimum.
Yeah,
Just
seriously.
he'd be 6 back. He'd be 6 back. Where would that put
And
him? In
yeah,
third.
yeah,
That's what we're talking about. It's insane. If Mike Haber doesn't have 4 extra stats, if Josh Haber doesn't have 4 extra stats, like 12 and a half and four and yeah, yeah.
yeah. And now he's fighting, clawing to get into that sixth spot.
And he's only
Over,
3 out. He could make it.
yeah,
He could
yeah. He
make it.
could. He absolutely could.
But he's got
He's
the
got
he's got the toughest opponent that you could possibly have in week 22, and Mike Haber's gonna
yeah,
probably put this thing to bed for him. But it was a hell of a story to get to this point.
yeah. And it's just it's I think there's a sense of irony, maybe, or poetry that it is Mike Haber, that the same team that James missed the minimum the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
Now he gets a little sense of retribution, maybe. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
I don't know. Jason, you're not going to be with us tomorrow when Ben and I go over our managers of the week. So let's get those in now. Who is your number 3 manager of the week this week?
Man, this was so tough. Because I really have four names for three spots, and I don't know how to separate them here. Um, but I'm giving my number three to you. You did take a nice 14-6 win over Bobby, and it was a lot bigger than that all week long, up until close to the end of the week. And I mean, you've all but stamped your seat in the playoffs. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. I much appreciate that number 3. And yeah, I feel pretty good about my playoff chances now all of a sudden.
Um, my number two, I'm gonna give. Gosh, this is so tough. Um, I have to give a shout out to Mike Haber for stomping down Ben and keeping himself in that first place spot, keeping that bye that he's probably going to keep. I would think. So I have to give a credit to Mike Haber.
We are going to talk about that one in depth tomorrow. I don't want to say too much more, but yes, congratulations to Mike Haber this past week.
Absolutely. Number one, this is so tough because I, I really want to give it to Frank for taking down the matchup that he needed, but also I have to give shout out to Bryan Lebo for playing that ultimate spoiler and just making Josh work all week long, and you know he finally got the win that he needed. It was just a, several weeks too late, but this was a really good win for Bryan. So
Mhm.
I I don't know. I didn't follow the Frank matchup too closely, so I'm gonna give it to Lebo just because I know what he did. But I'm sure Frank deserves it.
The Frank matchup will also be covering in depth tomorrow as a face off against uh, Costas this week. Uh, we're going to be covering it tomorrow, Benji, but I appreciate you letting me know. Uh, Guys, thanks so much for being here this week, Jason. And we're going to catch you guys tomorrow for part two.
Yes, I'll be looking forward to seeing that and hearing you guys break down the rest of the matchups and getting us ready for this last week of absolute insaneness.
Absolutely. This is going to be such a fun final week, and we are going to have every moment to break down for you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Until next time. And real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you guys next time.